Are you exhausted and feel undervalued? Does it feel like a lot of the work that you do is just unseen? Do you also feel like the people around you are contributing to your stress and just can't seem to get anything done right? You might be overwhelmed and burnt out. My name is Evelyn Knight. I am a childcare center owner and a former director. I know what it feels like to go to the childcare center that I loved and feel like it was draining the life out of me. The work I was doing did not seem to match the rewards. You may feel the same way. It is actually pretty common to feel overwhelmed and to become burnt out as caregivers in the ECE world. There is a lot we can do, however, and I would love to talk to you a little bit about that today. The first thing is know where you find your rewards. Looking for recognition from others can actually cause a lot of stress, and stress can turn into burnout. So make sure that you stay focused on what is really important. Our reward is within the children we care for. We are doing the most important work in the world. The work we do is setting the foundation for a child's entire life. You may not realize this, but the 7 brain executive functions that help us with self-regulation, coping, time management, the most important things for us as adults are developed within the first 5 years of life. That is the work we are doing, the most important work in the world, right? We are literally designing the future. So that is where we need to find our reward, not from recognition from others, not from our paycheck, but the work that we do. Another thing that might be causing you a lot of overwhelm and burnout is the fact that as ECE professionals, we tend to have big hearts, and it's very hard to say no to others. So we tend to take on way too much. We become so overwhelmed because we're not putting enough time and effort into our own self-care. And on the subject of self-care, I cannot stress enough to you how important it is to carve out the time for self-care. You cannot take care of others. You cannot be an effective leader. You can't run things wonderfully the way you know you can if you're not caring for yourself. I can tell you during the time that I was burnt out and overwhelmed, my childcare center was failing. I didn't realize at the time that I was causing it to fail because I was so overwhelmed that I wasn't seeing the things that were right in front of me. I was placing blame on my staff, and I wasn't stepping up to be the leader that they needed me to be because I was exhausted. I was too tired to see what was going on around me. I was burnt out. And a big part of that was I didn't have proper boundaries set and I couldn't say no. I give you permission today. It is okay to say no and to set boundaries so that you can take care of yourself. You will be a much better leader for it. A couple other quick tips that I can give you that'll help you to be a more effective leader is one, for sure, that has helped me tremendously throughout my life and is really helping me in this season. My husband passed away 8 weeks ago, and I am facing one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult season of my life. In order to get through this time, I start every day in gratitude. I force myself to think of 5 to 10 things every single morning before I even get out of bed. That reminds me of how wonderful my life is. Instead of focusing on the loss and what I don't have, I try to focus on the positive and what I do have. And every day it has to be something different, which can get a little bit difficult. But that will help you so much with dealing with burnout and overwhelm. Find 5 to 10 things every day, even if it's as simple as you woke up under warm blankets, right? Just find those things and you'll soon see how wonderful your life is no matter what you're going through. The last thing I do that is very helpful is every evening I do a brain dump. Some days this is much harder than others, but I just get some paper out. I actually use a journal, but you don't have to. You can use just whatever you have and write down all the things that are stressing you out. Instead of laying there with all of this racing through your mind, get it out of your mind, dump it out, put it on paper. It'll help you to purge and see things clearly, help you to sort things out. Some days you might be doing this for 5 to 15 minutes. Some days it might take 1 minute, but it is so important to prioritize and give yourself this time. It doesn't take a lot of time to help with these little techniques that can save you from burnout. I hope everybody can take heart to these techniques and that they help